There you go. Work.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. It's your boy Soul Power, aka Gamed Up Kennels. Oh yeah, we back. We back when you're on your ass, man. We fighting, pushing through, we keeping the blades sharp as sharp as a damn razor. Yeah, dig. It's a good old Monday night. It's Bulldogs and Bullshits. And I got my good brother, my illustrious host, 1/5 of the Shogun Army. We got the master, Samurai Kennels.
What's up, everybody? Peace and blessings to you, my brother Soul, man. And also, man, I know you are knowledgeable in self healing, man. So I'm just gonna say to have every confidence that you're gonna recover yourself very well, very fast.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm dealing with a. I'll go ahead and say this for like the Caucasian like to say it. I'm dealing with a gnarly ear infection right now. So, but we pushing through. Straight warrior status. We give a quick shout out to the good brother, Asiatic soldier in the building. I see you, good brother. I see you.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Asiatic Soldier, bro. Big respect to you, man, and I appreciate everything you're doing for the cause, bro. Seriously.
Yes, sir. Big salute to you, one of my fellow big rig drivers out there beating up that evil ass road. These wicked ass drivers. You talking about, man? You know what? One thing I gotta work on is first 5 minutes of these live streams not using any profanity because we are working toward getting this page monetized. So that's something I will be putting in a concerted effort toward. But yeah, man, give a big shout out to the brother. You know what I'm saying? One of my fellow road warriors.
Yes, sir, man. We appreciate all the road warriors, man. I like to use a lot of Amazon shopping, and any of y'all brothers who is who moving them from warehouse to warehouse, man, I appreciate you. I probably paid somebody's salary. Also, shout out to Tony M in the chat. Salute.
Brother Tony in the daggone building. Salute, family, salute. Hey, man, let me go ahead and salute you today, man. What a incredible interview you did over there at Battle Bread Canines today. If y'all haven't seen it, check out the good brother Samurai Kennels. He has it on his community tab. We go and click on that. He did an amazing interview today. Amazing wealth of information. And just get to tap in to find out more with who the good brother is.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, Soul. But we got it, man. So we got to give us some interviews from you, bro. Like I told you in our live before, man. You're one of the. This was some ignorant shit I said on last week. So pardon my language. I know we're trying to get monetized. This was the most ignorant thing I said last week, but it came from the heart. It was genuine. And you're one of the most articulate brothers I know, man. And I wanted to elaborate upon that, man. So I just want to give you like, hey, I like my kids to listen to when you're speaking on my channel because they realize that people of with hue can have educated and intellectual conversation.
Oh man. Oh man. Salute, salute, salute. Appreciate that, good brother. Appreciate. I got to give all the praise to my OG. You know what I mean? It was in the house. We spoke the language of the people, but it was a major focus on being able to express yourself and understanding that our words were the most powerful thing in our possession. So arming yourself with, the knowledge and the way to be able to express yourself was a powerful thing. And just being emotionally intelligent and that moving ultimately poured over into my relationship. So relationships, from my wife to my brothers, so understanding the power in articulation and the power of our words. So salute, salute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well stated. So I do have a question for you though, and you don't have to answer this right now, but I'm prying right now as your brother, but also as somebody who knows you're competing again for you won my last digital dog show, and you know we don't want to be no self-licking lollipops. We don't reward ourselves. You won that fair and square over the most contested class. There was on y'all. You had the most competitors in your class last time with females, right?
Yes, sir.
Um, how are you feeling going into this next one?
Oh, she looking good, man. She looking good. That was something I was gonna send you a video earlier. But I had got sidetracked. I was out there in the yard, and and part of my routine is once I clean her chain spot up, I go to his chain spot. I'll let him off the chain spot because I know he just go to her area and they just go wrestle. And ultimately, he's just trying to pin her down so he can mount her and hump the crap out of her. But that's what I do. Let them burn some energy. And man, wow, yeah, both of them actually looking really good. And shout out to I believe that was either brother JT or 601, um, who had gave me a few tips on for the coat issues. But ultimately, I found out that young sir has an allergy to eggs. By process of elimination, taking things out of his diet, I found out he's got an egg allergy, and ultimately we got his coat cleared up. But yeah, yeah, lady, man, she looking real good. She looking real.
Nice. How old is young sir now?
18 months.
18 months. All right. All right. So with this one right here, he'll if you decide to enter him too, he'll be in the adult class. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up extending the classes and making it even more extensive by having all the classes. So you know it would be adults typically 13 to 17 months, and then 18 to 24. We do not
Gotcha.
have that for this one, but
Right.
For the April one, our annual, like you know, our 1 year anniversary show, we're gonna open up to a lot more classes. Also, one of the things I wanted to mention to you was I want to add some I want to have we'll talk about offline. So I got some more ideas, man, and I want to get because I see Tony M and I see Asiatic Soldier in there, and I want to get some more classes available. I want everybody who wants to compete to be able to compete with some prestige, and um and to be able to compete for titles that they can hold over other people's heads. So yeah, we got some ideas cooking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. And everybody, when you enter the building, make sure your elbow drop the pissed out that like button. I see the likes is going. I mean, the views is going up and down. You know how YouTube likes to hide uh, these young channels, or well, there is a ongoing lawsuit with black YouTubers. You know, what would that be? I forget the verbiage for it, but yeah, all these black streamers and whatnot. So with the hiding of the black channels being hidden in algorithms. So y'all make sure y'all smash that like button. Y'all comment in here. All of this helps the algorithm. It helps our page get seen, and ultimately, you know what I'm saying. It's go produce better numbers, better quality shows. You know what I'm saying. We're going to be able to build up the channel, more equipment, better quality, and we're going to yield reap results from that. Salute, salute, cuz I see you in the building. You feel me? Hey, I sent you that link. You want to hop in here? You feel me? But I don't know if you got the babies or not.
Hey, I did want to say this, man. So one of the things I saw earlier, I watched a channel called C and B Outdoors by Carnell Hines. He's a hunter, and
Yes, sir.
he was live earlier, man. And one of the things he does in his lives, I'm gonna start doing this too, man, is shout out if y'all don't mind in the chat where y'all hailing from. And I'll start. You know, I hail from North Carolina, but I live in Tucson, Arizona. And the reason why I do that is I like for you to see what areas are heavily populated with people of like-minded ideas.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. C and B. Hey, man, I rock with his channel. You seen he was out there doing some night hunting and was knocking down them hogs.
Yeah, and man, so bro, I haven't talked to you like I wanted to talk to you. So we can we wrap before we get into our
Yeah,
subject
man, come
tonight.
on, man. This the cook up, bruh. We out
So
here. This is bulldog and bullshit.
so I think it was either the spot one or the spot two. We was in here chopping it up with Firehouse and them, and you brought
Yes,
out
sir.
your AR setup. And
Yes, sir.
I just wanted you to know, my brother, that I just put my AR on layaway. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
and because I've been having this move has been killing me, but here in Arizona they have a very very lax. They support the Second Amendment. I'll say that much. And so I wanted to do a humble brag on the AR that I put on layaway and that I'll have out by no later than Christmas. Um, but I should have it out before then. It's not that expensive at all. It's just I'm not gonna go for broke on it when I don't plan on hunting until the winter months. But it is a DB Diamondback AAC, that is advanced armament core. That's the 300 blackout. That's the
Yes,
caliber
sir.
that I got it in.
Yes,
and
sir.
and I wanted to let me say this. Tony M said, "Hailing from the city, salute." Uh, but it's it's chambered in 300 blackout, and when you were saying, I think you said yours is chambered in 5.56.
Yes, sir. Diamondback DB15. Yes, sir.
Oh, so you it's the same
Oh,
same.
yes, sir.
Oh
Yes,
my
sir. That's why I got geeked up when
god!
you said that. I love Diamondback, and I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you why. So, I apologize for cutting you off, but I just got so geeked up. Well, my little $700 gun, I bought my Diamondback. It was a bare bone gun. I
yeah,
accessorized it.
yeah.
I threw my sights on. Only thing I haven't done yet is put on what is it, a 12-inch barrel. I mean, not a barrel, but the foregrip on it. Not the fore. I don't know I can't think of the name of the rail. 12-inch
Yeah.
rail on the front of it.
Picatinny, Picatinny rail.
Picatinny. Yes, yes, sir. So I have this standard. I think it's like a 8 or 10 inch on there. So I want to
Yeah,
do the extended out, whatever. Okay. Outside of that, everything else, outside of that and the trigger, everything else is all upgrades. Uh, from butt stock to foregrip to mags, trigger wheel, all of that. Flip up sights, all of that. Paid $650 for it. I did the same thing. I put it on layaway. This was probably about 2014. I got it out maybe a month or two later. And that little $650 gun, me and my buddies did a torture test. Buddies out there with 18 and $2,000 guns. Daniel Defense,
Rock
Rock
Island.
Armory,
Yeah,
Rock
yeah,
Island Armory, yeah. And it was a few other guns that I can't think. Oh, a Smith and Wesson, and uh, uh, what is that? The Ruger 5.56
yeah.
instant driven. And we did a torture test with these guns where we went out every weekend, every other weekend and we did this for about 2 months. We didn't oil our guns or anything. Only thing we did was just come out and fire. And then those 18 to $2,000 guns, nobody else shot me, not a single jam. And then on top of that, everybody kept wanting to shoot my gun because of how light it was in comparison to theirs. So
Yeah.
with the Diamondbacks, yeah, you got to a good one.
So I wanted to say, man, I did a lot of research and I could have got a cheaper 5.56 because this is so there was a gun show here this weekend in Tucson, and I got so excited about the round because it meets all my needs, and I wanted to share that with the chat and to share that with you, my brother, because I didn't I just knew 300 blackout was a 30 caliber round,
Yeah,
and I didn't really understand it. So I want to break it down from the research for
man,
anybody
I
who's
was
listening.
good, but yeah, go ahead and break it down.
So with the 5.56, man, well, I would say we use that in the military. That's high velocity, up to 780 yards. Over a mile of where it can kill somebody, right? Because it's a high velocity small round, right?
Yeah,
Now the stopping power there is, yeah, it's still not much bigger in diameter than a 22 caliber round, right? But the 300 blackout was actually designed in 2013 and kind of came out heavy in 2017 because some special operators wanted a round that could be suppressed. And
yep,
so it can be shot subsonic. And what that means is that supersonic means faster than the speed of sound. So you're going to hear with a subsonic round, it's traveling below the speed of sound. So there's no sonic boom. It's just, and then when you suppress it, it's, you
right.
know, and you would think it was a 22 when it's shooting subsonic suppressed. That's what it sounds like. No here, but it's hitting you with the same stopping power as a 308.
Caliber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's only effective till about 150. I wouldn't shoot beyond 100 yards with mine, but that's what I got mine for was hog hunting and coyotes. Which, if y'all see my videos, the coyotes here they come out in broad daylight. Their food is scarce, so they're a little bit more. They're a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh, there's desperation is there. Desperation. So because of the desperate nature of the coyotes here, they'll come in for bait a lot faster. They'll come in for calls a lot faster. And typically the average kill shot for me is between 25 and 75 yards. Now with a 30 round, I'm talking about blowing off shoulders, with a frangible round. And so I wanted to share that. And in subsonic, I could shoot one, drop it, and the other ones wouldn't even hear where the shot came from. So
Right.
they couldn't even scatter, and that's why I thought this round was so important. Now, as far as range, I'll never be able to keep up with my 5.56 brethren with range and accuracy greater than 150 yards, but the stopping power is definitely there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's add a little more to it. So what they did with the 300 blackout was they merged the 5.56 and the 308. So you got the 30 caliber bullet, and they used the casing of the 5.56 and milled it out and and placed that 30 caliber bullet inside of the 5.56. So it's like if the two bullets had a baby, that's the 300 blackout.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh,
And I wanted to say this too with my insecurities. So with my insecurities is I am I'm an accurate shot. Everybody in the military has to qualify 300 yards, but I've never been a hunter before. So when I take quarry, our ancestors and the natives to this country and to Africa, they killed only for food and for warmth for the warmth of the furs. Right? They used every part of the animal, and so what my intention is not to destroy the pelt, but it's actually to ensure that I give a humane and quick death. Because one of the things that the ancestors would do is they would kill an animal and they would pray for the animal's speedy death, and they would also thank the animal and thank the powers that be for the animal sacrifice so that we may live. And
yes.
so I want to honor the ancestors and honor and just be honorable when it comes to my hunting and sustainment, because my goal right now, and I'll share this goal with you because it makes it a challenge, is to dispatch it's called a javelina. They are an indigenous animal to the southwestern United States, specifically Arizona and others, Baja California, places like that. And I want to dispatch a peccary, or excuse me, a javelina. It's a type of peccary, and have it taxidermy so I can feed my dogs. I'll taste it, but I don't know. I'm not big. I heard it's not even a pig. It's a loose relative of a pig.
It's actually a giant rodent. Uh,
Yeah,
what is I'm trying to think of the name? It's this rodent that's down found in the Amazon. It almost
tapir, a
yeah,
tapir.
yes sir, yes sir. So it's actually in the same genius as that. Uh, man, let's go ahead and get into, since we're talking about the ancestors and everything like that. Let's talk about the ancestral ass kicking that occurred this weekend. Oh my God. Alabama, stand up. Montgomery, stand up. Man, as I was surfing along the mean streets of TikTok this weekend, passing up some different videos and being inspired, listening to the, the great politicians such as Julius Malema, and seeing the coup that has occurred in Niger, and all of the flim flam that the Western world is approaching the great continent of Africa. I went on ahead and kept scrolling, and I saw what was a brother, an elder brother, being attacked by some suspected white supremacists on a boat dock. The brother held his own, but ultimately was overwhelmed by the multitude of hands and feet being placed upon him. When and at that very moment we saw the ancestors kick in full time and black people start to swarm like ants. and produced an ancestral ass kicking on the suspected white supremacists. Let me go ahead and give a big ashe to every brother and sister that participated in the protection of our brother. This has to be our moniker. Thus for and upon that, like I said, this has to be the way that we RP Super Day. What?
Hey, no. So that's that. So let me interject. So Super Davis, my brother, he passed in 2020.
Oh, okay,
But
okay. I'm
Tony
somebody.
him is from the same ward. He's from the same ward in Houston that my brother was residing in when he passed. Yeah, man, super man. Um,
I got you. I got you. Hey, no, on the real way. RP, good brother Dave, Super Dave, man. Man,
yeah.
this is somebody totally different, brother. Yeah.
nah,
Okay.
nah. Nah, that's my bro, man. Yeah, man, my bro was he was in the streets heavy, man. But back to what you was talking about, man. Antonium, I appreciate that, bro. Hockey Lee in the building too,
I
so
keep Lee. Yes, sir. Salute, good brother. Y'all make sure y'all elbow drop the piss off that like button when you enter the building. Y'all go ahead
so
and share this, comment, hit y'all bell notifications. Let's get this flowing in the algorithm. But yeah, man, that ancestral whooping was beautiful, beautiful. See, this is the problem. Ultimately, people have taken looked at us, and what we see often is we being attacked, and the perception or the focal point being soft targets, either children, women, or our elderly. That's got to be our attitude moving forward. People have to know that it's going to be a problem. If you touch one, you got to deal with all of us. I don't care if I know this man or woman, you go have to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? They have to know it has to be some type of backlash, just on a basic level. Now we talk about beyond that, we're gonna need a whole bunch more strategy and training and understanding of the ecology and studying our enemy and knowing how wicked they are. And I'll land my plane with that, and I'll let you go ahead and cook further with that, good brother.
hey man, so y'all know me, man, and this, man. So I gotta say, I love you, bro. Let me say that first because uh, this show, the spot, gives me a chance to pontificate on things that it's always the dogs, man. The dogs are a common bond. That's how I met you through the dogs. But the what I liked about this situation more than anything was it was captured in its entirety, and so the situation occurred. You can see it from somebody released their video from the ferry side of it, and you can see the man walk up to the family and ask them, "Hey, this ferry is scheduled to dock here, which means that the city has a charter or a ledger for every boat that's allowed to be docked in that harbor." And so this brother was really doing his job, and I love when things are done lawfully. This is what I love, and because the original video, I didn't even know he was a worker. I just thought it was a dude with a white T-shirt on. But when you see the footage from start to finish, it begins. He walks up to the it's a man. It's a catamaran, which is a boat with two bottoms. All right, it has two contact points to the water. So he
Yeah,
walks up to the catamaran,
a
and
pontoon boat.
yeah, exactly. So he walks up to the boat and he converses with them. You can't really hear what's being said, but it's nice because the video that I saw was actually a lady of Caucasian descent narrating, and she's like, he asked them to move the boat because we need to shore and I don't know what it's. I don't know. Don't give me. I'm not a sailor, but to basically shore and land that ferry, it had a prescribed time. Now a lot of ferries actually carry cars. Like if you go to Wilmington, North Carolina, the ferry actually carries cars across from one piece of land to an unconnected piece of land. There's barrier islands in North Carolina, and I would assume that most ferries have that same capability. So this guy he's asking the family, "Hey, can you move?" The family refuses, so he unshores or takes the shoring line or the mooring line and throws it on their boat and pushes their boat off because it doesn't take a lot of force to move an object in water due to buoyancy. And so that's when they come on land, and that's when you see the next video that everybody saw yesterday come out, where the confrontation begins. And so, given all the fact, because the paparazzi and the media always swing the story to make it more selling, and which means they need to make it climactic. But what really happened was a gentleman was doing his job, was confronted and expected to buckle, and then the masses had his back, which is what should have happened. And even the young man that jumped in the water and swam over to the pier, one shout out to him. That guy was only 16 years old.
Hey, shout out to him. The ancestors' DNA is flowing strong in that brother. And when we say the ancestors, we talk about the warriors, that warrior spirit. So shout out to that brother and being courageous and fearless and understanding that there are moments where things are greater than yourself, and it's a call to action, you know. And that's what it was. The brother telling these people they can't dock here. Let me go ahead and add Brother Ray Imperial in the building. Peace to the God.
Hey, salute, brother Ray.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. How's the fan?
Oh man, bless.
Yes, sir, man. Always great, never bad, brother Ray. Welcome.
That's
Yes,
what's up.
sir.
That's
Yes,
what's
sir.
up. Good to be here. Good to be here. Glad to see y'all chopping it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So ultimately, the brother, just told the people, hey, this is a docking area for this ferry. We need this area. Yeah, okay. They did the typical, I'm white and I say so, you know, where they using their complexion for the protection. And, ultimately, as they begin to move the boat by hand, like you said, buoyant objects, anything on water is very light in comparison to, in ratio. So he's moving it by hand so that these people that the company can dock the boat. What do they do? Decide to go up in arms, and at that point, like I said, the brother had a valiant fight, but he was overwhelmed. And at that point, we became a swarm. It was like everybody was operating on one spiritual energy, and they got an ancestral ass kicking.
Hey, pardon self, y'all. So I need a favor. So
Hmm.
my good brother Asiatic Soldier's in the chat,
Yes, sir.
and I'm noticing that he don't have no hardware.
Let me go ahead and hook the good brother Asiatic Soldier right now. Thank you for bringing that to the attention. Y'all give me one quick second.
One love, man, to Far Eye. Brother Ray, while my brother's handling that, man, I want to say that live you did the other night, man, where you was chopping it up was fire, and I've never gone to your channel and not learned something. Uh, I've been following you. I'm fanning out right now, so just pardon self, but man, I was in Korea when you did that episode where you were showing how the Camelot blood retains all of the game qualities of the dogs.
Absolutely.
And that video was viral, man. And I was overseas for 2 years in indentured servitude over there. And I'm gonna explain that to you later on in this episode, so you understand when I say modern day indentured servitude. That's exactly what happened to me, man. And so
Wow.
I'll I just want to say thank you, man, because it helped me get through that time frame, man. I was over there for 2 years when I was only supposed to be over there for one due to a technicality. Um, so yeah.
I appreciate that, bro. It's a blessing just to know that that thoughts travel. You understand? A lot of what we do on a day to day goes unrecognized. It goes unheralded. Nobody's, in our little world, we think nobody's paying attention sometimes. So when you brothers, when you take the time to acknowledge that, that's big for me. That's big for me. What you guys are doing on a regular basis with your consistency and even with the kind of ramping up the volume. That's just big stuff, bro. We are long overdue in this community for this type of a conversation.
Absolutely.
Hey, so so I know there's a time, but I wanted to tell Ray this. And I want you to hear this story too because I've never shared this story before. Uh, and there's a lot of things I haven't had a chance to get out, but we're chilling tonight, and I feel comfortable in the vibe. And so, what ended up occurring was I've been deployed twice and done an overseas tour once, and there's a difference between a deployment and a tour. A deployment has a guaranteed end date. You do your tour 6 to 12 months, and you come home. And you're heralded for a deployment. Before a tour, that's where a lot of brothers end up in Germany, Korea, these places where they come back with these wives you see working at the commissary on base, you know. And
Right.
so I did my first deployment to Kuwait, and then I was supposed to be rewarded with a tour to Korea, which at the time I was going through a divorce. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but Korea and Germany where they send brothers to get love because over there you live like a superstar. I mean, that scene in Rush Hour 2 with Chris Tucker where he goes into that massage parlor and he's like, I want her and her. Well, let me get her too. That's what Asia is like for anybody with melanin. Just so
Absolutely.
you're tracking. And
Well,
so I got there and I arrived in Korea at the age of 24. And at the time, even though we have emails and things and training, I've never had to use it before because everything has been structured. So I get there and they don't give you a phone call and they don't say a word of mouth. They send an email out and it's called a DEROS duty established return from overseas. And I didn't check my email and it got deleted. And so what happens is if you don't respond to this email within 30 days, they automatically extend you to the maximum time allowed to keep you overseas.
wow.
So what happened is normally if you extend like that, they give you an extra $300 a month to stay overseas. That's why brothers go overseas and never come back because they willingly go into this kind of contract and they're paid extra money. So that extra $300 a month, and brothers come back with, they do 3 years, they made extra 9 bands. They come back and that's 9 bands for a house or the
Right.
nice cars you see the military members driving. But what happened is due to that technicality, I was serving the same kind of tour you would serve living home, close to home, overseas for 2.5 years. And so when I say indentured servitude, because I wasn't getting that extra money and I didn't realize I was stuck there for 2 years when I attempted to come home, it was like, nah, bro, you're stuck here for another year.
Wow. 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 Wow.
I'd have
Fun
felt like
fact.
somebody was trying to kidnap me.
Well, this was the same. This is in the wake of the movie The Interview being released. So we were at the
Oh,
closest
yeah.
to war to North Korea that ever happened.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know those soldiers over there sick in their stomach. You talk about fear dripping down the crack of their ass. Because I know that those were some intense times. Hey, let me go ahead and read a couple of these comments. The good brother Tony M says, I told my racist neighbor on the sheriff that if he crossed the gun line, I'm very accurate with this. We're going to make this CNN. Go ahead and tell us.
That's for real.
Yeah.
Hey, Brother Ray, he asked a good question, man. And Brother Ray, I think is the best one to answer the next one. Go ahead and read that soul, please.
Which one? Who was it from?
Says he said Tony and he said while we have uh
SEM on the panel.
the SME subject matter expert. Okay, let me find Tony. You military? The SME.
I think
That's yeah.
10 years.
That's military for subject matter expert.
Okay. He says, what are the
Tony M said he loved Korea so much he extended.
But he got paid. Tony, and that means you got what's called CAPE, Korea. I forget what it's called, but it's a program where you get the extra $300 a month. And he said he Army vet. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
brother Ray? He wants to know, is the Camelot considered APBT or a bully?
That depends on where you get your Camelot from.
Ooh,
Well said.
get him.
If you go through a camp like Kenneth Sonia of Camelot Pits, who's currently using the name, I feel, under false pretenses, then you are likely to get something closer to a band dog / bully.
Yes, sir.
If you go to a camp like Bryant's Red Devils,
Yep.
they are predominantly an old family red nose breeder, and they recognize the Camelot kennels stock, not Camelot pits, right? So
Oh,
we
there's right.
kennels, exactly, which was founded by Art Sedaris.
Yeah.
Now, when you go there, you have to understand that Art was a game dog breeder. Art did, he suffered legal ramifications for his involvement with these dogs, right?
Yeah.
Like Pelican Bay like to talk about a whole lot. Art definitely traveled that path. At some point, the UKC banned him, and it kind of hamstrung him for using the name Camelot. And that's kind of where Kenny Sonia picked it up from. He started using the name Camelot Pits. But the true Camelot was King Arthur, Art Sideris of Camelot. You understand? King Arthur of Camelot. That's kind of where that whole dynamic was going. Unfortunately, you have usurpers to the throne.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Man, can I please jump in? Tag
Go
me
ahead.
in, please.
Go
Please,
ahead.
jump
So
on.
so I'm y'all know me, man. I be blurting out, and the significance of those names is extremely important. Camelot being the home place and resting place of King Arthur, and the usurper Sir Lancelot, Guinevere. All that's dope. Um, man, uh, and in your live you spoke about this, and you did a live back when I was in San Antonio. I was delivering DoorDash, and you mentioned that as well. With I think Asiatic Soldier might have been present in that one as well, if I'm not mistaken. He was in the chat. This is probably like February, March of this year, and that was Tony M said thanks for the breakdown too, brother Ray. But
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but that's a powerful thing because anytime you're dealing with an animal, and this is for anybody in the chat, anybody understanding my voice, anybody who listens in the future, anytime you're dealing with any dog, the only way to trust that dog is to trust the person from your police, military. We don't care. We care about the pedigree, but we care about who's handing you the dog. And that's why you could go get a dog bred by Brother Ray, but if it don't come from Ray's hands, it's not a Ray Imperial dog. It's a dog bred off Ray Imperial's blood.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah. Shout out to the brother, Big A in the building.
Hey, shout out Big A, man. Salute.
Fifth of the Shogun Army.
Ooh,
Good brother. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button, hit your bell notifications. Share this, let's comment, let's get it up in the algorithm. You feel me? You feel me?
Hey, let me pose another question to Tony M real quick too, y'all. So Tony M, you said you were an Army vet. Let me ask you this, because we about to joke, we about to clown for just a second. What base were you at? And with that being said, until he answers y'all go ahead and let's go ahead and pontificate and chop this thing up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and get a little scientific with it. Uh, I got a question I want to ask or pose to y'all. Or let me say it like this: we go deal with the topic of genetic drift. Genetic drift. And we're gonna keep it in its layman terms. Genetic drift ultimately is uh,
ancestor laws.
speciation. I'm sorry.
Ancestor laws.
Yes, sir. Or speciation, ancestor loss, when you have a common or you have common ancestry and species being separated due to any type of climatic issues or just moving of resources, anything like that. And over time, through environmental pressure, um, food, so diet, tragedy, anything like that, causing your genes to mutate, and now you have something called speciation. Excuse me, I just had a silent burp right there. So genetic drift, and ultimately what that is how people or animals will adapt, then evolve and change away from their common ancestors. Man, what's your thought on that? And the way I want to pose this is, how do y'all see the American Pit Bull Terrier, or where do you see the American Pit Bull Terrier in 100 years, based on the laws that we are dealing with, the actual environment that we're in, global warming, all of these things, the food, you talk about lower quality food being pushed across the board, and uh, just the overall, the dog not being used in its original usage. How do you see the American Pit Bull, or where do you see the American Pit Bull being in 100 years? City Boy Kennels in the building. Anybody, brothers can take that.
Hey, so Brother Ray, I'm gonna let you roll with that. I'm gonna let you rock with that one too, because you kind of alluded to the other night with the coyote hunting and stuff on your channel. So that's where I see it going to. But Brother Ray, if you want to cook, go ahead and cook, bro.
Okay. First, let me say that I want to give a special shout out to somebody in the chat, brother Asiatic Soldier. This brother has been loyal to these podcasts, no matter who's doing it. You understand what I'm saying? For quite some time. That brother is probably one of the most consistent dudes that I know without a YouTube channel. you know,
Absolutely.
and when it comes to recognizing right where we are in today's time, we've already dealt with a certain amount of genetic drift in the American Pit Bull Terrier. The dogs that we see today, particularly in the conformation shows and whatnot, they tend to be finer bone, more sleek, slender animals, right? Rarely do you see the thick bone, rough cut type carver dogs that were, that was kind of the staple, like in the time of a Don Mayfield and those people. And that is primarily because we have included so much more for the American Pit Bull Terrier to do in the public eye, as opposed to just what was going on behind scenes amongst the fraternity. So what we're looking at is really just kind of like the first step in a process that, if allowed to continue, is going to literally see, the American Pit Bull Terrier as we know it to be functionally extinct. And what I mean by functionally extinct, you'll still have dogs that are under that label. They have those genetics, but they don't have the same qualities and characteristics. What we mean by a rough dog is a dog that can take it, right? A dog that can get in there and give it back as much as good as it's getting. And not to kind of mix disciplines, but when you look at the boxing game, right? You look at a Terrence Bud Crawford, you look at a Javante Tank Davis. It is that quality, the ability to bite down, to take what is given and give it back better than you got it. It is that quality that sets them apart from their competition. So when we take the American Pit Bull Terrier out of its traditional context, out of its historical context, and we do the slap mill races, we do the wall jumps, we do the, whatever we're doing, the dog is not getting that tolerance that it's had historically. Does that follow?
Absolutely. Hey man, look,
I want to
bro.
go ahead,
Go
bro.
ahead. Go no. So you go ahead. Man. I just want to say this, man. I was talking to Big A earlier about that, and I was telling Big A, I was like, Big A, it's certain people's dogs, and Brother Ray, you one of them. So you one of them. It's certain people's dogs, man. With this Bushy Dre thing we got going on, those dogs will live long beyond these dogs that are only bound to the box. And the reason for it is, futuristically speaking, there's two options for the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
One, we're either going to be voted into and put into a corner where there could be no aggression at all, or two, we're going to lose government structure and you're going to need dogs that can perform exactly like what we're doing already. And those are the lines that will survive in either situation.
Well said, brother. Well said. Well said. You know what? I won't even add to what I wanted to say because I think, and you wrapped it up with that. The good brother, Big A says they will become show dogs like the bull terrier. Go look at pictures from the 1800s and versus today. Hey man, there's some validity to that. Big A, he said, I quit. I need a drink. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tony M, 100%. I'm
What
sorry. Go ahead, brother.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to throw this question out there. What boxer truly has a career if he does not spar?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Message.
He's got to understand what timing is. He's got to understand, he's got to be able to feel the power coming off another fighter. All of that, man, is is kind of the case in point for the American Pit Bull Terrier. We can only do but so much show work if the dogs are not working.
Absolutely.
They're not in the field, if they're not, protecting the two-legged partner that they're rolling with in the woods, then there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some issues.
You got to know what it feel like to actually make contact with
Yes.
something. You know, you can shadow box all day, but you don't know how your hands feel after just getting on a heavy bag for 30 seconds with no gloves. So you have to build up that tolerance. That ain't even you being hit with a punch. That's you doing all the punch. So absolutely, I'm in total agreement with that. Let me see, man. It's a bunch of comments. Y'all forgive me if I'm missing y'all, 'cause I don't want to lose the flow of the show. So we
Hey, so I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro, but hey, so with me and the good brother Tony M and I, let me fix my grammar. Tony M and I, uh, I'm rapping with his brother because he's been to the places that I spoke about earlier, and so this is man, this is nostalgia for me.
strict.
Yeah, well, it's over there. First of all, that's legal. So before y'all start judging, just know. Um, but man, Brother Ray said a mouthful with that as well because what the boxers. Let me dial it back. All right, y'all got me excited, and I keep jumping in, and I think this conversation is so volatile. You're gonna have to kind of like just it's like double dutch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You got to get it in and get your point off before we move on to the next point. But nah, man, that's the thing. And that's where I get the most flack from, and I'm glad that I got you two brothers here because I feel like if anybody can understand where I'm coming from, it's y'all. Uh, and the chat obviously, but as far as what I do, I get the most shit for the stuff that I do. Right, pardon my language. So I had to cash up you
Hey,
$10 for this episode because
man, this is boxing. This that
yeah,
bullshit show. You feel me?
but
Boxing
yeah, man,
bullshit.
it's ends up occurring is these brothers don't realize it, but like Brother Ray said, PBK, he pretty much told y'all, man, like it's so many busts going on right now that the underground is reeling. They're reeling in pain right now. And so what's ended up happening is brothers like us that are doing things that are close to, you still get that combat, you still get the blood sport, because what humans love is blood sport. All right.
Absolutely.
And I've never seen a brother get shot and not get love, or go into a dire situation and not get love for survival, because every human being realizes how fragile we are, and that's why those people in those situations get love. All right, but I think it goes without saying that by hunting the coyotes or pigs or protection work, you still get that bloodlust field. And every breed has been repurposed, like Brother Big A said. None of the breeds from 1800 are being utilized in the exact same manner that they were in 1800. It's not happening. We've advanced, and our ways of life and laws don't allow it to happen at a high level. So you have to adapt to the times, and that's why, for me personally, the protection work thing works very well. And this is not to encourage that on anybody, because I get a lot of shit for that too. But not to encourage that on anybody. It just works. I get the same thrill, the same adrenaline from scratching and matching as I do from teaching a dog when to bite and when not to bite.
I concur 1,000%, bro. Um, I found myself in a funny position when I first moved to this area. Uh, I was literally renting a room, right? And the house that I was renting this room out of had several people in it, right? A couple of dudes fell off they square. They were stealing food from other tenants and stuff like that. So I got into one of those incidents where something came up missing. I go around looking for who done it, and I knocked on a particular door, man, and the dude, man, came right to the door and swung right on me, just hooked off. Now, reflexes being what they are, I was able to weave the punch, right? I was able to return that punch. But when I caught him, what I didn't realize is that my mechanics weren't what they used to be. So when I caught him, my hand wasn't fully closed, right? I ended up pushing a knuckle damn near up into my wrist. So for the, I'd say probably for the next 2 weeks, I had pain shooting all the way up through my elbow. Now, I used to box, so I understand what it is to properly close your hand. But I haven't boxed in years, right? And so the mechanics just weren't there in order to respond the way I used to do it. As a result, I suffered injury despite the fact that it seemed like I had achieved an advantage in that particular situation. And my point is that when the dogs, are just wall climbing or they're just slap mill racing, what's happening is the punch, right, that they normally have to deliver in order to, subdue another animal, it's not going to be there. You're going to get weaker teeth. You understand? You're going to get weaker bites. And this is going to happen slowly, but progressively. There's a, call it a principle of involution and evolution.
Yes, sir. I was
Sometimes
looking that
they
way.
depend on themselves first before they can grow out. I'm sorry. Go ahead, so.
No, no, no. I was actually going that way. You snatched the words right out of the cosmos, and yeah, man, you said it right there, man. I'm rocking with that. Under so for I think I would say 95% of breeds aren't used the way they were used prior to the Industrial Revolution. Humans have become too dependent upon the system, whereas dogs used to be an everyday working tool. For us, dogs have become just a companion in most cases. So overall, the canine of today, lineage wise, would be, if you looked at them and compared them to the ancestors, would be at a weaker state. And that's fair to even say on humans. You look at us 60 years today to 60 years, y'all forget me, 60 years ago, testosterone levels have dropped. I'm sure we've grown in stature, but strength wise, I'm sure there's been a dip in all of these different capacities. You know what I mean? Humans are a lot more fatter. We're carrying more body weight, things like that, because ultimately, we don't have the same density or strength in our bones. So we're looking at an increase of osteoporosis, so on and so forth. Teeth are brittle, things like that. Lack of minerals in our body. We are, like you said, it's the evolution. I'll say it for the sake of it, devolving or adapting to the times that we are right now. We just becoming a more comfortable species. In real time, we're looking at speciation, and that's what the American Pit Bull Terrier is looking like. If we compared it even 30 years ago, I mean, unless you're in the fast lane champagne or you have dogs that's coming off that, if you just got the basic dogs that are at these ADBA shows, or, you know what I mean, purple ribbon for the last 5-6 generations, dogs look incredible, incredible. But are they carrying that same vigor, that same tenacity, the same, that coat, that bite, that spirit of their ancestors? Nah, they don't. I just don't think that they have that tenacity and that ruggedness unless you still are pulling from those old working genetics. And I think overall, and like the good brother Dre alluded to earlier, society is going to find a way to move forward progressively in some type of governmental totalitarian way, or it's going to be some doomsday prepper type stuff, and your dog, that the man's best friend, will be utilized in all aspects. And I land my plane.
Say it again, bro. Really?
Hey,
Say it
so
again. Yeah.
I I I couldn't agree more with the sentiments going into that direction. And one of the things that I will say is that the level of trust. All right, so I need to say this openly in this forum. First of all, the way that dogs were tested for gameness in the past, I'm not against it. That was what was that's like saying telling a Viking like, okay, you're a pillager and rager, or that's like telling a Moor, from Mansa Musa's time that gold should mean more than salt, because in the desert gold does not mean more than salt. You're speaking to somebody who sees the practical application of what they do, right? And so I'm not against the old way of being tested. However, the persecution of that ain't worth it.
Absolutely.
So when bull baiting was eradicated in the 1800s, they moved on to dog on dog matches. But the original purpose of these dogs was bull and bear baiting. I read that to you straight from the manuscripts, right? And
Absolutely.
so uh, even the shepherds, I tell people this all the time. The shepherds were originally just herding dogs to protect the flock from predators, coyotes, and wolves.
Yes, sir.
And they realized that they could repurpose these animals. Uh, we're a stagnant culture, and I'm not against the culture at all. And I think people think I'm against the culture, and they think I sneer at tradition. I don't sneer at tradition, but that's just like saying, all right, in the late 1800s, they used a horse and wagon, and then Gerald Ford came out with an internal combustion engine, and he said, "Get rid of the horses. That's one less thing you got to take care of." It's progressive thought. So that's my standpoint on that, man. But I totally agree with the sentiments of my brothers.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, like I said, society, comfortability over this oversaturation of femininity and that feminine energy. So the pendulum is off kilt, and that's what we are seeing right now. Masculinity is being flushed down the toilet. Femininity is being pushed on the forefront, and that's what we're seeing. Just gladiator sports and that adrenaline rush has always been part of human society. Talking about from the Romans uh, um, and the Colosseums. You look at West Africa, you look at Senegal. They got a huge sport called Kali. Kali, they do a form of boxing where they wrap up one hand and they box and they have it wrapped up with glass inside of this glove. And
Mm-hmm.
they also do a traditional wrestling. And this is supposed to be the derivative. The Romans seeing this going down and bringing that to Greece and Athens. The Greeks and Romans seeing the Africans practice these old traditions right here. But it's always been a form of sport, that is seeing the blood in the guts. That is, we are still animals. That barbarism is still in us. So it's always been there. The problem is now we live in a culture where we're hypersensitive. Everything is all about that's inappropriate and this, that, and the third. Uh, the message that's being put, but when we see in reality, it's complete opposite because things that we would say is inappropriate from back in the day nowadays aren't. Women walking around here with their whole asshole hanging out. Okay, we ain't gonna go too far into that, but
Listen, they had a sister, man, that had her whole coochie out in the mall. She was wearing a dress, literally showing the coochie. Now, if that had been a man, he goes to jail immediately,
oh, come
right?
on,
But her complete vagina is on display.
come on.
How is this even? And when we talk about empowering women, right? And y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but this ties directly into what we're saying about these dogs.
Mm-hmm.
If I have one gripe about the history of these dogs, really I have more than one, but one more so than any other. And that is the fact that of all the things that were developed in the dogs, intelligence was neglected. You see, when you start doing bite work, when you start telling the dog yes and no, it's okay to go, and no, it's not okay to go. what you're doing is giving the dog the ability to discern what is considered a threat and what is not.
Yep.
That discernment increases the intelligence of the dog,
Mhm.
right? And because of the dog's physical prowess, its mental capacity, its mental abilities, its potential mentally and intelligence wise was neglected. Anything a dog figured out, it figured out on its own in the pit. It wasn't a direct result of somebody teaching the dog, you know, that to develop the intelligence in the dog is a very deliberate process.
Mm.
And it was completely neglected in the past. I haven't ever heard a single podcast where they sat back and said, well, one of the first things we wanted to do was develop the mind of the dog. You hear him talk about developing bite. You hear him talk about what it takes to get good wind, more power, Cat Mills, Jenny's, this, that. Come on, man. When was the mind of the animal ever taken into account?
Tag me in, please, brother Ray. And
Yeah,
so,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I've been,
hey,
bro. I land that plane.
so, hey, that right there, you ever seen that show Jimmy Neutron? If y'all got kids or nieces and nephews, you just gave me a damn brain blast. So let me explain something to you. All right. When Brother Ray said that, I think you understand that if you ever heard the term of stupid game or dumb game, where a dog is really game
Right.
but lacks intelligence, the term gameness or the ideology of gameness would be a flaw in nature. Gameness cannot exist in nature. And the reason for it is an animal that is trying to survive, which means it has to understand the concept of self-preservation. That's a level of intelligence that comes from what's called the amygdala, the reptilian brain. All animals have it. Even amoeba have an amygdala. All right. So the idea of no matter what I do, I must survive and procreate is removed by breeding gameness. So gameness to me it's commendable, but it is a low level form of retardation, where something is so fixated on a task that self-preservation goes out the window. Now, a species that was completely game left in nature would be the dodo bird.
Oh, well said. It's a fact. It's a fact. A dog that is dead game is a dog that has literally, you know, it's not even taking its own well-being into consideration, right? That dog is basically saying, you know, all I know is to grab hold and try to finish, and if I can't finish, I die here. There's something to be said for the courage, but there is also something to be concerned about, right? Because that is, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's not intelligent at all. Now, if you can teach a dog when you get in trouble, this is what you need to do. Like even a boxer in the ring, if he gets stung real good, well, let me tie up. Let me do something to hold on a little bit so I can get myself back together, and then we can come back at this thing another way. The traditional method of schooling out dogs and all of that doesn't really take a lot of that into account. Doesn't take a lot of that into account. It's just really like you guys referred to earlier. It's that bloodlust, right? Dudes just want to see them go, and see who's going, who's going to finish and who's going to quit and all of that. The very fact that they called the ones that quit means that dog will never have a chance to review its own performance and figure out what it did wrong. And we take that from a dog. We say that is beyond a dog when we immediately call an animal that's not dead game, right? So that's kind of my take on that. I just, gameness is a thing where you stepping up and you willing to handle business, right? You're gonna give it everything you got, And at the point that you see that this is not going to pan out, most of us are intelligent enough to know we need to take a step back, reassess ourselves. And this goes right back to involution, turning thoughts within. You understand what I'm saying? Turning the focus within and understanding, where did I go wrong? To say that a dog is not capable of that is your answer to, your answer to that is to cull the dog, because you're saying the dog is not capable of having its own review. But how many of us have seen our dogs literally laying there, whimpering, growling, doing whatever they're doing because they're dreaming, they're remembering.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey man, I wanted to hit on something because you kind of got heavy, and I think that was a little understated. Um, Going into the involution, being able to reflect inwardly, and that made me think about one of the 7 pillars of the Hermetic principles. Uh, we're talking about one of the pillars I'm going to speak on tonight is the principle of mentalism.
That's the first of
Yeah,
them.
the first one, yes, sir. And this principle right here, a quote is, "All is mind, and the universe is mental."
Mm, mm. That sounds like a silent prayer.
Well, if we are looking at that, well, let me go ahead and let me get your build. I want to let y'all brothers build on that, and tie that into relationship with what you just said right there. That dog sleeping and it's dreaming. It's having a real time experience in its sleep. You know what I mean? You seeing that dog running and whimpering and all of that stuff right there in its sleep,
That's
having
right.
a real sense of consciousness. Go ahead, brother.
If I can bring this like full circle back to, and I apologize because I did come in a little bit late.
Go ahead, brother. Pick it up.
Y'all was talking about, that little incident with the so-called brawl on the docks.
Yes, sir.
And I first got wind of it the other day. I follow a channel called Cash Flow Harlem. And Cash Flow Harlem is that's a story in itself. That's a story in itself. That's a pretty powerful story, but I'm not going to really diverge into that. But as a people, right, we have kind of come face to face with our shortcomings. On a wholesale scale, you are starting to see more and more of us reach out to help one of us that may be in trouble. In the same vein, there was an incident in a Walmart down, I believe it was in Texas, where a shopper had previously died in that store at the hands of security, or however that incident went. I'm not 100% on that. But in this particular incident, it was just a guy, and he looked like he might have been homeless, or he might have been struggling, or whatever the case may be. But he was a black man. He had some stuff in his hands, and he was being approached by 2, I guess, security guards. But
Yes.
they were wearing uniforms that looked like they might have belonged to the sheriff office or some old crazy stuff like that.
Yeah. Posing race soldiers.
Right. And the tragedy of it is that, well, one of the female seemed to be Spanish, but she had already drawn her taser, right? She had already drawn her taser, and the white male she was with pulled his baton. Now, there was nothing threatening or loud or boisterous about this black man's actions. He wasn't really doing anything at the point that we picked up this particular scenario. But the stuff he had in his hands, they trying to put him out the store. Oh, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. The stuff he had in his hands was from another store, wasn't from Walmart. So the question was, well, why are you harassing the man? And why are you approaching him with these threatening gestures, with these weapons drawn, as if you're about to basically lynch him on the spot? And so somebody stepped up and said, hey, what's going on here? Another black man who has a YouTube channel, man, I forget exactly what the name of it is. I'll share that with us before I leave here, because you know, the brother stepped up and literally, you know, he said, hey, what are y'all doing? Why are you threatening him? That's not necessary. Put that away. And so it wasn't until he drew attention to the situation, and then other people started coming around, and now our race soldiers, you know, now they have to change their tone. They originally tried to, you know, they tried to bully him. Get out of here! This is not your business. You damn right, it's my business. A man died in this store, and so with that incident on the docks, you saw the exact same thing. People approaching this man as if his life didn't matter, as if who he was a person was of no significance. And others of us looked and said, wait a minute, you're not going to treat any of us like that, because there will be consequences. And so tying it into Kabbalion, there's something called the law of use. Our ancestors and our elders taught it to us as well. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. It's been given to you for a purpose, for a reason. You see, it's in you to love one another. It's in you to protect one another. But when society says there may be consequences and ramifications for standing up, people were backing down for years, had been backing down for years, until the situation got to a point where what? Involution began to occur. We began to look at ourselves not just for what we thought we were, but we began to look at ourselves. We have begun to look at ourselves from a world standpoint. We have begun to say, you know what? We need to do better by ourselves. We need to review our own behavior of ourselves and see how we can put a stop to this madness where, you know, we have to go on some parade and say Black Lives Matter. No, I'm going to show you Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely. Stomp your ears together. Stomp your motherfucking ears together.
Come on now. This is what involution is. And so what you are now going to see is the evolution. What comes out of that involved process where we've literally taken deep stock of who we are and what we're dealing with. And now we start coming up with solutions as to how to overcome these things for real.
Right. With the evolution comes the revolution. In a real motherfucking way. In a real way. The brother Walker Down Ram said it is part of our innate divinity. All facts.
Ooh.
Facts.
Ooh.
Facts. See, that is part of that the mentalism right there. Not just seeing yourself or just seeing a person, but seeing yourself, you know, being able to empathize, understanding that all is mental, right? And the universe, excuse me, y'all gotta forgive me, I got this drink in me. If my universe, I'm creating my universe in real time, why wouldn't I protect the universe around me? If all that I have in contact, and we talk about, and we go get on some tribalistic, because that's just the way the world operates. If I walk in as a black man or woman, you know what I'm saying? for my sisters. You know what I'm saying? If you moving on on this plane right here, when we see each other, understanding that we have a greater responsibility. I just can't pass up. It won't just be a phone that's being pulled out. It has to be some form of intervention. And the way I just always look at it, I just keep it on the most simple and the most easiest form. If I'm in a store or if I'm in any type of public scenery, if I see an elder and the perception of them needs help, I step in. I don't work for this company or anything, but this is my reality, and I have to be of service to the people who I come in contact with. Oh, hold on. The brother welcome down says evolve, resolve, work, evolve. Okay, I see you. I see you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Go ahead and cook. Go ahead and cook, brother Samurai, because I don't want to go on a tangent. And we go stir this up. We go bring it back. You know what I'm saying? This gumbo is about to be cooking up. You feel me? We got them ingredients in there. You know what I'm saying? We got that sausage bouillon. You feel me? We got them bell peppers. You know what I'm talking about? We putting that shrimp in there. Go ahead and cook.
So I think that, well, one, let me say this. The first thing I want to say is we spoke on it earlier. The inflection and passion in this conversation, it's not going to be as structured as most, but I get it, and that's why I wait my turn. Um, but I will say that in those situations where people are starting to step up, we're starting to have that sense of neighborhood again. And they say it takes a village to raise a child, and we're starting to see each other as that again. I think that in previous years, I would say in the last 3 years, there's been a lot of evolution of us as a culture, and I would not give credit to the. It is gonna sound fucking. I'm not Uncle Ruckus, but I would not give culture to the Black Lives Matter movement. I would give culture to the social media movement of those who are able to see the message of other people and say, "Hey, you know what? I agree." So we spoke offline about propaganda, and I told you that one of the biggest ways the wars are won outside of battles is propaganda, what you can make people believe in. Because what somebody believes in, they'll die for. And I think that we're starting to come to a commonality of we'll die to not have shameless or pointless killing of ourselves. Genocide will not happen again. You know, and that's learning from the past.
Message. Message. Uh-oh. Let the church say amen. 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 Amen.
So
Hey,
let it be.
I'll shade to that, good brother. Um, like you said, propaganda, one of the major war tactic tools. You know, being setting the stage to take away humanity from a said group of people. You know, and we'll tie that to the dogs. Uh, Looking at the way that the APBT is the propaganda behind it, it lines up parallel with the black man and black woman. Common law, the art of war, first chapter. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got to go read that by Sun Tzu. They do have the Audible right here on YouTube. Hey, you got to understand the easiest way. Me and myself and Brother Samurai spoke offline earlier, and we were talking about the easiest way to be able to go in and rule over a people uh, with complete domination is to dehumanize them, and ultimately, that's what the these said groups of people, the Caucasoids, the ruling powers, have done to the melanated people of this earth, specifically the black man and woman. So that that's how I'm looking at it. And these same tools and concepts are being used with the APBT, and especially when we're looking at it historically, how up until you start seeing the influx of black men being the dominant or the dominators of this sport. That's when you see major laws being changed and the way that the propaganda being pushed on the American people territory. You talking about 19 up from the early 1900s up into the 1930s. This was America's dog. You know, it was depicted from our gang. You saw old army and military photos with the APBT being the logo behind it. You know, it was praised. The dog was praised, but as it became more readily available to the black man, and ultimately the black man becoming the master of the box and doing our thing, what do we see? It being associated with underworld crime, drug dealing, all of the negative tropes that they use for the black man ultimately have lined up and coincide with the APBT. Go ahead, bro.
So,
Click on that.
so brother Ray, please tag me back in. Please tag me back in. You just trigger something. Okay, so those y'all in the chat who don't know, I talk about this shit all the time. I'm a military. I just came from being a military drill instructor, and one of the things they teach us about is how to dehumanize somebody. How can I talk to somebody who is crying or obviously is at their breaking point like they're nothing? And one of the things that we learn in the drill instructor school is the Stanford prison experiment. All right.
Mm.
Now I'm gonna give y'all a synopsis of this from what I remember because this was taught 4 years ago in my indoctrination process, and to being able to basically tell somebody, you're not at your breaking point, you break when I tell you to break. And part of the indoctrination into this schooling is you go over the Stanford prison experiment. They took college students, they put them in the basement of Stanford, a Ivy League school, and they said this half y'all are prison guards, and they gave them roles: warden, prison guards, uh, power, a power imbalance. Then they gave the other half of the students your prisons, your inmates on different levels of this facility. Now, mind you, none of these roles are real. But after 2 weeks, those who had been told those who had been told that they were in power began to belittle and treat the other group of their classmates. These are all Caucasians, by the way, of their classmates, just like they do in a real prison system. Just by being told for 2 weeks, they went home at night. I flash forward. The next thing they talked about from the Stanford prison experiment was the golem versus the halo effect. They took students. This is a military study. They took students and they told the halo effect is we're going to tell these students, hey, you did great on the test. In the beginning of a class, on the first test, you did great. No matter what they scored, you did great. Then they
Mm-hmm.
call it the golem experiment. Was the other half of the students, they told them, hey, y'all did terrible. Regardless of what they scored, they just told the students that.
Mm-hmm.
Then they allowed them to take the full 8 week course. Do you know that 90% of the students that were told that they did well in the class, regardless of what their first test score was, continue to score high in the scholastics of that class? But the group that was told that they were golems and they scored low accepted it and
Yes, sir.
continued to score substandard scores simply because they were told that their baseline was so low.
Now,
Psychological warfare.
I want to I don't know if you covered this already, Soul. Again, I apologize if, I did come in a bit late, but I want to clarify that what the brother was talking about with that principle of mentalism, that all is mind, the universe is mental.
Yes,
That
sir.
concept is an old African concept that comes right off the continent. Um, and it says that everything possesses some degree or form of living mind, from the
Absolutely.
smallest subatomic particle to the largest celestial bodies, revolving around the sun and beyond. Everything possesses some degree of living mind and therefore is connected to the living mind of man. Why is that important? Because as the brother just outlined in that experiment, the mental sphere, the mental world is easily influenced.
Absolutely.
Depending upon what type of energy is projected into that sphere, into that realm of mental activity, is going to directly reflect the outcome, or the outcome will be directly reflected by what is sent in. So again, with the American Pit Bull Terrier, right? You're not going to get a very intelligent animal because you're teaching the animal to basically take it, take it, and die doing it.
Mm.
Very much the same way the African slave was treated, the African captive
Absolutely.
that was enslaved was treated, right?
Yep.
You ain't got nothing coming in this life. Just deal with this. Go to
And
your grave picking cotton and know that your Jesus is waiting for you on the other side.
in the land of milk and honey.
And this is
Sweet
not a
taste
knock
of the
on
food.
anybody's religion. So I don't want anybody to take me wrong, but I do want you to understand how anything, and this, forgive me, it kind of takes us fast forward a bit into another principle, but everything has its pair of opposites. Everything has the
Larry.
ability to be used constructively or destructively. And anybody that truly pays attention, even to the whole story of Jesus in the Bible, will be able to see that, right? Because the same power he had to raise Lazarus from the dead was the same power he used to curse the fig tree and say, "You shall never bear fruit again."
Mm.
Right? So he killed the fig tree. They say straight away it withered, it died. That means he killed it. The loving Prince of Peace. But in the same vein, that spiritual power that he possessed was personified as raising Lazarus from the dead. So the mental sphere, right, was always the key of education in our traditional cultures, right, where we came from, right?
Absolutely.
Things that is sorely missing from our culture today, that's endemic to almost every African culture, society, linguistic group, however you want to term that,
Yes.
is the rite of passage. The rite of passage that says that these children now become adults. And they only know that they have become adults because what? They are being told so. They are being educated accordingly.
Right.
And when you really get deeper into some of those rites, for example, in one particular culture, the ancestors wear the face of the gods. They wear masks depicting the gods, right?
Okay.
Or the elders that are conducting the rite of initiation, they're actually wearing masks of the gods. Well,
What we talk about the Dogon people?
I don't think it's doggone, but it kind of escapes me. I did this research,
Okay.
man, I think back in 2000, so some of it is a little bit rusty. But the point being that the elders in this rite of initiation, what they did, and it was completely secret, right? Nobody's allowed to know about this and how it transpires, but they would remove the mask from their faces and place them on the children,
Mm.
right? So we as your elders, we wear the face of the gods, right? So you associate us with those gods. Well, now you need to associate yourself with
That's
that
yeah.
same divinity.
Yes, sir.
And we are so missing that. But it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
slowly but surely being recovered. And
Yes,
that
sir.
that brawl on the dock, that said a lot to a lot of people.
Hey, The ancestors are speaking. They talking through, and something that it will be. It was looked over. Is man, that water carries so much spiritual energy. And where did that ass whooping occur? Right at the edge of the water. Wade in the water. You hear me? The
Everybody
ancestors
jumped in the water and swam
in the
to the
water, swam
doctor to
across.
save that man.
Young bull. I think I believe the brother samurai said he was 16 years old. So we waking up. Oh, but the brother walk him down ram. He fell out. Okay, yeah. Hey, link back in there if you want to jump in. But yeah, man. Hey, man, this is something to be said about everything. The most important part of education that has been lacked outside of the traditional educational system is the spiritual part. You know, we understood that all of these were one, coming from the African uh, paradigm. We understood mathematics, science, all was one with spirituality. We didn't separate any of these facets, you know. And we got Welcome Down Ram in the building. Salute, good brother. Peace and blessings. What's happening, cuz?
What's
Ram,
happening,
salute.
cuzzo? Salute to everybody on the panel, man. Y'all boys in here cooking that good dope up tonight, I see.
Uh,
Salute, Graham. Salute.
you know, we just on nothing but empowerment, being a vessel and of service to our people. You know what I'm saying? If we can talk that shit and joke and bullshit, but what real nutrition are we bringing to our people, and how are we using our panels to better push the narrative forward to go ahead and get this ball rolling in the right direction?
Yeah, you can't feed them cereal all the time, you know. There's no nutritional value. That shit good in a pinch, but nigga can't get big and spoiled off just that. So I feel you appreciate that too, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you flying through. One of the great brothers, 1/4 of the daggone. Excuse me. It's yeah, 1/5 for the one of the greatest bulldog shows on the planet. You feel me?
The greatest.
Coming
The
through.
greatest.
Oh, there it is. There it is. The
The
great.
greatest.
Well, shit, it's all the motherfucking goddamn me motherfucking samurai said it, nigga, then it is official, motherfucker.
Hey, hey, but Ram, I'm glad you're here, bro, because I wanted to clarify your question in the chat, bro. So literally, what ended up happening
No,
was,
no, I got what you were saying. I'm saying the baseline because you got the two controls, which is you guys are great, you guys ain't shit. The baseline would be like that they would be a group of people who just got the regular test scores and they went on accordingly. Like they just kept them, regular. So
but
they could have something to compare, a natural aspect to compare they two controls to. Like
but
the people
hey,
we didn't
but I,
tell nobody shit, the good separated themselves from the bad, whereas the
Right.
people we told we did that kind of like selective breeding.
but I want to share this with you too, because there was a portion of it I left out just for the purposes of paraphrasing it. But the other portion was because it was a military experiment. So what they had was two units that on the base or the static location where this was done at, that the units also had that prestige where if you hey y'all scored high, so y'all are going to this unit, and then y'all scored low, even though they scored the same similar scores, y'all scored low, so y'all are going to this bad unit over here.
Mm.
All right. Now, what I was doing was I was using that comparative to what they do with race. And so, Ram, I
Oh
know you got
yeah.
that. Yeah, I know you got that part, but I left that out intentionally because I was just trying to get my point across. But because I know you have a degree in the same field, I wanted to give you the fullness of it. So if you ever wanted to look into it more deeply, like yes, like they went into actual units. They were told based on their scores they were going into a prestigious unit or a shit unit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they just put them on the low vibrational frequency then and kept
Yes,
them
sir.
there.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
sir. Going
Whereas
direct.
the other ones, they raised their vibrational frequency by making them feel good about themselves, gave them the warm and fuzzies, and put that
Hey,
optimism in them.
yes, sir.
If I can jump in right quick, here
Go
I
ahead.
see a major difference, right, between what has traditionally been our methods of education, right, on the continent versus what we see in the Western world, we'll call it, right? And and that major difference is that when the intent was to educate, right, on the continent, then it was really done by uplifting, empowering. Literally, the mind was fed the things that it needed in order to grow, right? Even amongst the Batwa people, who we commonly call pygmies, they send that youth out into the bush to bring home a full-grown elephant to feed the entire village. And he's not allowed to come home until he passes that rite of passage. But the beauty of it is that he sees other grown men in his village, and he knows that they all had to do the same thing. So he knows he can go out there and do it. Nobody's telling him, you're not good enough. You don't measure up. You'll never find an elephant. You'll never be able to come home. In fact, they're telling him, you have everything that you need to feed your village. And if you think about the power in that concept, it means that if every other person or every other a male in the village were somehow wiped out, and this one 13, 14-year-old boy was the only thing left, they would still survive because he'd be able to bring home enough to feed the entire village.
Yeah.
That is a very, very powerful thing to pass along to a mind. Here in this society, the system of education rests on certain things like they call psychology, which is supposed to be the study of the psyche, the study of the mind, or even the study of the soul. And perfect example, one experiment that they ran, it horrified me when I read about it. So, it just kind of grabs me that way. They set up a bunch of college students in a lab, and they were given a series of questions to answer. They were also hooked to an electrode that received electronic shocks, right? The other half of the class was placed on the other side of the glass. They were each given a small dose of that electric shock so that they could see what this experiment was about. Those behind the glass that had to answer the questions, every time that they got a question wrong, the people in the front of the glass had to administer a little bit of that shock. Every time the question was wrong, they had to turn it up a notch. So if the person continued to get it wrong, there was definitely a red line there that could be dangerous to the person's life. The doctors would stand around, tell them what questions to ask and when to administer the dose and whether or not to turn up that dose. Well, here's the kicker, y'all. The experiment wasn't being done on the people answering the questions. There was no shock really applied to them at all. The experiment was being done on the people who were told to administer the shock.
Yes. Those are the experiment.
Yes, I saw that one. Yeah, that's fire.
Right. How many of them would actually defy their own conscience, ingrown innate sense of morality, and actually deliver a lethal dose of that shock based on somebody in a white coat telling them that this is what they had to do. The voice of the Lord says, you got to do it, do it, do it, do it. And they would succumb and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a version of the Perlman test.
So you see, this concept that all is mind and the universe itself is a mental construct. It plays out so deeply in the smallest details of our existence. Samurai, you talked about that propaganda. They tried to kill Fidel Castro with propaganda. For years. I mean, everything under the sun. But they faulted Malcolm when Malcolm said, well, chickens come home to roost. And being a country boy, I'm never sad when chickens come home to roost. I'm quite glad when they come home to roost.
Yeah.
right? He was held at fault for that, right? But at the end of the day, it's a natural law. Chickens come home to roost.
Yep,
And
you
so
reap what you sow, get what you fucking put out. Karma is real, god damn it. That energy field is real.
when you
Yes.
push a
Well,
people,
I'm waiting for these goddamn bastards to get their karma, because good God, it's gonna be a whole heap of it.
don't wait on it. Don't wait on
Don't wait on it, you could issue it.
Yeah.
Shit.
I know I'm talking my shit because
Yeah.
I'm a little.
Vengeance is always mine. I never left that up to the Lord. I got this one, God. Don't even trip.
Vengeance is mine, says I am.
Yeah. Says Ramesses soon the third.
You feel?
Translated to of Ra, adored by Amin. God damn it. Rame Su.
I used to have a Siberian Husky that was a cold cur, right? And growing up in Spanish Harlem, everybody had, some version of a pit bull or another, some version of a pit bull Rottweiler mix or another. Everybody wanted to, have the meanest, nastiest, dog that could tear apart anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Little Husky was at a definite disadvantage. And what I found was if you press that dog hard enough and you push that dog far enough, that bitch would turn around and bare her fangs. When she
Yeah.
eventually went blind, she was a terror on four legs. Motherfuckers couldn't understand how a dog that they considered wasn't shit had turned around and become something altogether different. And so that's why I say don't wait. Don't wait on their karma, because pushed far enough,
Oh yeah,
pressed
for
hard
sure.
enough, you're looking at you're looking at a turning of a corner.
Absolutely. I mean, and just even using that scripture, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, understanding that I am God. I am a representative of the divinity, on this plane. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just a call to action. You know
When
what I
God
mean?
introduced himself to Moses, what did he say?
I didn't hear what you said, good brother. Can you repeat that?
At the burning bush, God introduced himself to Moses. What did he say?
Oh, I thought
I am that I am.
Whoo! So if there's nobody else standing there, and Moses is staring into the fire, and he hears a voice say, "What?"
I am that I am. It's you. You had a moment where you spoke to yourself.
When Jesus was led away into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil 40 days and 40 nights, he had to fast and all of that, right? Does it say that the devil walked on two legs, like it said about the snake in the garden? Not at all. It doesn't give the devil any form whatsoever. In fact, the devil came to Jesus in the form of three questions. That was his own rationale, man.
Yeah.
And one of them was, I'll give you a kingdom you already own.
Mm, just bow down before me.
Ain't that some cold pimp shit if I ever heard it? Bitch, I'll make you rich if you pay me.
Right. Right. Hey man,
It
it's
is, bro.
14 out here. We've been rocking out for an hour and 43 minutes. Like I said, I got my son in my arms, got a nasty ear infection. I think we ended on a great term. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk this Bulldogs bullshit, and we got to drop some major heavy gems. I challenge everybody to go back, rewatch it, share this to your people. Let's get it up in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings to everybody who slid through like a drive through. My boy Donnie in the building. I see you. Tony M. Ajax Soldier. Good brother. Big A Kennels. Who else was up in here? Man, everybody who was in
Ain't
here.
Donnie out here, bro?
Yeah, yeah. No, no. Donnie is out here in Georgia.
Oh,
Yeah. That's my partner. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate all y'all brothers. Everybody who's in that chat, commenting, keeping this flow going, keeping the conversation going. I truly appreciate y'all. Everybody who hit the like button, everybody who shared this, and future listeners, make sure when y'all slide through like a drop, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead
So
and comment after while you're watching this. You feel me? For the recap, make sure y'all got some comments. Help the algorithm flow up. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother Summer.
I just want to make a plug, man, and this is for a brother up in New York, man. I don't even know this guy personally, but it's a brother, Lashim, the God, and he's here for the gods, the earths, and the babies. He taught me the divine mathematics, man. So if y'all can go support it, his channel's called Keep Low, and he talks about ways to improve your life, and he does interviews with OG New York gangsters. Some of them ain't so popular. Rest in peace to Alpo. Wasn't it Alpo or whatever his name is?
Rest in peace to no snitches over here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
hell no. I'm finna say, nigga, nah, no. No. Well,
How can a
unless
man
the
rest in
P
peace if he never
stand for
lived?
piss, nigga,
uh,
no.
Let me ask
all
you
right.
this.
So
How can
so
a man rest in peace if he never lived in peace?
And all
hey,
he caused was chaos and disruption. Even to the people who loved him unconditionally with his funky ass. Hell
pardon
no.
self,
Before
pardon
the
If I
man
pardon
had
self,
could,
anything
I'll
to
bring
say,
him back and we'll
pardon self,
pinata
y'all,
his
pardon
ass and
self.
then put him
it's
back
all right.
in there.
It's all right. But just know this truth about that man. Before he was ever, before he even made it to DC, he was known for, you know, basically he'll buy a bitch a pair of 5411s
Yup.
and make her service him, and then put it on display at a club called the Rooftop.
Yep,
Yup.
yep.
You understand? This is like he would pull up at red lights and niggas would fire off on him for shit he did to their sisters. You understand? Like,
Yeah, niggas that run him up out the tunnel, all that.
right? He never lived in
Hey,
peace, man.
hey,
Never
I
lived
do
in
want to say
peace.
this. I want to get this clear on this channel right now. Pardon self, yo. Uh, that was just one of the names he brought up of like people he
Oh,
interviewed and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah, no,
man.
I understood where you was
Yeah,
going. We couldn't let that one go.
yeah.
We couldn't let that one go.
Yeah,
So
no disrespect to you, good brother Samurai, or the brother who gave you that. But no, that's not no.
yeah, yeah,
Hell
that
no.
yeah, hell no.
How
That
he died was how he deserved to die, man. He wasn't no honorable cat.
nah, he got off easy, really. He got off easy. But yeah,
No,
what-
I don't think so. Cause he died in a funky ass truck trying to get away. So he died scared to death, knowing he finna crash into this fucking truck and he can't get away. That's the
make
perfect way ending for a motherfucker like him.
hey, brother, go ahead and keep plugging that brother.
No. First of all, I want to
You
say,
said it's
man,
Lakim Shabazz?
no. So the name of his channel is Keep Low. His name is Lashim, and I think he's from Brooklyn, man. I follow him because I was interested in the divine mathematics and stuff. You know what I'm saying, and the 5% theory and stuff. And he broke it down in a very understandable way. I'm not gonna say it's 100% accurate because I don't think anybody there's no perfection in human. But what I'm saying is like I support the brother, man, and he ain't in no fuck shit like the dude we was just talking about. But I also want to say thank you to you three because that accountability is what we need in the community, man. Like I didn't intend to make a martyr out of a fuck boy, but I
Yeah,
don't
you
feel
didn't know, bro.
yeah.
You ain't no
No, I
gangster
did.
nigga
I
like
did.
that, man.
No, but I knew about Alpo. I knew Alpo's story, but I don't speak ill on the dead, but I didn't have to talk him up either. I was trying to talk up the other brother, and I ended up giving kudos to somebody who didn't deserve it. And that's what ended up occurring.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, man, shit.
So if
Hey,
you would, bro, would you
yes,
would
sir.
you share that little thing that we discussed about the 5% earlier?
Um, I you got to point me in that right direction, brother, because we didn't expound on so many things.
Well, I mean, before when you and I spoke on the phone earlier, we were talking about the concept of the 5% and where it comes from.
Oh, so it only takes 5% of us, 5% to move the culture forward. The 5% is that's its divinity there. The good brother Ray alluded to the fact that you let milk spoil over that milk that cream that rises when you look at the ratio of the spoiled milk, it's only 5%. So it's divinity in 5%. So is that where what we were speaking to? Is that what you alluded to, good brother?
Absolutely. The fact that the concept of the 5% that the father, Clarence 13X, advanced to us, it was really it was based on a biological phenomena, a
Yes,
law of nature.
yes, sir.
What we call spoiled milk is simply the cream separating itself from the rest of the garbage in that liquid.
Right.
And invariably, that cream will measure 5% of the total liquid volume in the glass. And I invite anybody to do that experiment for themselves.
You got the law of 100%, right? 90% of human beings are sheep. They follow. They go along with the get along. 5% of people move the culture forward, and the
Hold
other
on.
percent, yes, sir.
Pardon self. So 85% of people are sheep. 10% are glad that the sheep don't know they're sheep, and the 5% are the poor noble teachers, bro. And so
I
man,
corrected because I was coming with that gangster shit. So look, I
yeah,
can correct it. Look at that. Look at God work right now.
yeah, man. And it's crazy because man, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. Y'all tune
Nah,
y'all
go
tune
ahead, cook, brother. Go ahead, cook, man. This church right
Hey,
here.
so one of the things I learned in the military is that the only other brother that will ever understand me is a brother that's been to prison. And I'm about to share some shit with y'all, man. Like this the only brother that can understand a military nigga is a brother that's been to prison. I'll explain to you why. All right. When you process in, it's the same shit. They give you a number and they give you what they expect you to wear. There's no bullshit. Your labor is defined by what they think your labor is worth. It'll never be negotiated. All right. You don't know when you're going to see your family, but you know you're going to be put into situations where you're going to have to make compromises as a man. This is the facts. This is the facts. Every base I am processed, I'm giving a man number. Every base I've ever been processed, and I'm not going to speak on the prison side because I don't know the prison side. All I know is all my brothers from prisons are the only ones that are going to understand what it feels like to be away from the country and hoping that you pick the right family and the right woman to carry your shit, whatever it is you got going on, to make sure you got your affairs in order with the right people. That's all I can say. That and the only person that can understand that is a person that's been in jail or been locked down without control of their future.
It's not just that, but it's literally modeled after prison. You got your fucking sergeants, captains, lieutenants. The
Mm,
inmates is the privates.
mm,
You got the
Yeah,
motherfuckers who do
yeah.
the yard. They call grunts. They do all the grunt work. Motherfucking yo shit, where they be at, the captain's office and shit. That's they forward operating base. All of that, bro. It's pretty much the same. And each group in that motherfucker, as far as race go, is divided, segregated from each other, but they all still run a military program. Like I
Yep.
was on level 4, program level 4. Everybody working out all that shit, nigga.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers running laps, jumping out, everything, bro. PT, let's get it. You feel
Hell
me?
yeah. Even
Bright and
food,
early,
bro. Random.
all the way down to how you make your bed with the military tuck, nigga.
yeah.
But I want to say even the food. So I'll give you an example. Okay. So what people don't realize is, all right, uh canteen furlough, canteen and a care package, right? So I'm telling you, my wife used to send me these fucking skins. Man, mind you, I don't even eat pork like that. But when you deploy Skittles, skins, Slim Jims, it's currency. Because everybody
Mm,
got money because you can't spend no fucking money. It's
mm,
Yep.
tax-free money. But I'm telling you right now, Christmas Day, when you got a little Debbie in that motherfucker, bro, we betting little Debbie. Fuck the money, nigga. Everybody got money, nigga.
in the
Huh.
military, when it's
With
time
them
to eat, where
snacks.
you go?
Hey, my boy Tony M was military too. He said, hurry up and wait. Fact. And y'all on Christmas. And then to make matters worse, on Christmas in Afghanistan, everybody got an M4. You don't know who gonna snap.
So whether it's the
Everybody's armed.
officers' mess or the prison mess hall, it's all a mess.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Facts.
It's all a mess and it's all chow.
I'm gonna say this. Sidebar. Y'all stop eating all them Skittles and shit. All that shit, that metronome in there. Y'all niggas getting feminine. Y'all getting more titties. Y'all, your damn testosterone levels is decreasing, and y'all becoming more like your wives.
Oh, man, you can say all that, bro, but that shit is in so much of the food motherfuckers eat. It's
Yo,
better to just start ordering food from overseas. Like I ordered some goddamn jalapeno Cheetos from goddamn Japan. They ain't even got the fucking dye on them, bro.
bro.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's gonna-
speaking of Japan, hold on. So Ram, let me tag me in. So speaking of Japan, bro, Japan got their Kit Kats got different flavors. So for us to get drunk, never mind. But hey, look, if a motherfucker want to get drunk overseas, man, order your Kit Kats from Japan because the ones that have wine or liquor in them or sake in them, it's
Yeah, got
infused in the
real
chocolate.
ingredients. Yeah. Nigga, I've been to Japan before, nigga. You ain't throwing any nigga with a passport. I've been to passport, bro, before
Hey,
that shit was
telling
cool.
you,
Yeah, I've been to
hey.
Japan, Dubai, nigga, all that shit, nigga. I'm a motherfucking man of leisure, jet setter, motherfucking player maker too, nigga.
Facts, man. I
Always,
appreciate you.
I
I
wanted to go
appreciate you.
to Japan though, cause my partner was in the service. His pops was and came back with some cold ass suits. So I was like, nigga, next time you go, nigga, I'm gonna see you some bread. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to give him like, 5 10 bands. You know what I mean? Them shits was 150. Oh, nigga, I got to get over there, bro, and see for myself.
Nah, you got to go to South Korea, Ram. Like, if you, because like I'm gonna tell you, so like, uh, Japan is like clean Korea, so Korea is just gutter. And what's crazy is my tailor in Korea, his brother is in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yeah, fuck all that, man. I moved out the hood, nigga, for a reason. Well, I want to travel 13 hours on the plane to go back to that motherfucker. I just drive up the street. They can go see the homies over to go see some squalor shit.
So you missed my indentured servitude story. So in that story, I was like, I got stuck in Korea for extra time that I wasn't supposed to be there. So seeing somebody who knew where I was from, I could chop it up with, man. Buying them sushi just made it even that much better.
They turned you into a slave over there.
Bro, Ram, I fucked up some paperwork. They kept me for an extra year with no visit, like no mid tour, just stuck.
stuck like Chuck. Hey, the only
Yeah,
good
there's about 12 little kids over there look just like bald head, light skinned niggas. Bet you.
look, that's what I was about to say. Every time he pulled out on the bitch, she got the screaming dot zero.
That nigga only pulled out was when he left. That nigga was stuck to them hoes like a dog.
Oh shit! Hey, that boy said he got some cold ass three pieces over there.
Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, I went over
Hey,
there just for that. That was my initial goal to go, but yeah, it turned out being a dope spot.
hey, so that tells me, Ram, your ass was over there making Blasians too. And for those y'all in the chat that don't know what a Blasian is, that's when brothers go over there and sow their royal oats and leave with kids that you know
Like
what I'm saying,
they all
black and
through the
Asian.
Philippines. All through the Philippines.
No, I didn't. Shit, I would have brought them back. Like shit, I bring bitches back. My baby, like none of my baby mamas is from here, bro. They all fucking imports from other states. They bring the bad bitches back, nigga.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, you almost got knocked the fuck out. Hey man, hey, take your ass to bed, nigga. It's fucking 10:30.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, good rapping with y'all brothers. We gonna go ahead and end this. Y'all brothers, let them know where they can find y'all.
Nigga, I'll be lurking in the shadows. You hear something moving and you look and you don't see nothing, then that's me with the scope on you, waiting for you to stop looking. But other than that, 7 8 Sports TV on YouTube, man, Game Dog Talk every Sunday when we ain't fucking around. Or you can find us on Patreon, same shit, Game Dog Talk. IG, same shit, Game Dog Talk. You hit me on IG though, your shit blocked, and I send you a goddamn request, accept it, cause I ain't just letting any old motherfucker on there. Niggas might be weirdos or police or something. See who you is and see who follow you back first. You feel me?
Real shit.
In a real way. Brother Ray, let them know where they can find you.
Imperial Flame Kennels, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of the same shit. Imperial Flame Kennels.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the Imperial Serial Killer.
Brother Samurai.
Right.
Man, same shit, man. Samurai Kennels on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Um, and Ram, man, y'all, man, brother Ram and brother Ray, y'all motherfuckers be humble as fuck, man. I'm about to brag for y'all, man.
No,
Anybody
I'm
else
never
like?
humble. I don't never put myself in a meek position to put somebody else in a higher esteem. Don't ever associate that word with me. Like I'm a definition guy. Words mean something to me. And humble is
Facts.
something I never ever be.
Well, let me correct that. Then you didn't give out your some of the greater qualities that I've seen from you, and in some of your greater esteems. Man, like y'all, if y'all listening to these chats for free and y'all not in Game Dog Talk, you tripping. All right, because in the Game Dog Talks, one, it shows you're a fervent follower and you actually there to get to receive real information, or you the police and you just trying to fucking gather evidence, whatever the fuck you trying to do. Y'all like this is great information, man, and it's for the betterment and improvement of the breed. And then for Brother Ray, man, Brother Ray be spitting life knowledge along with the dogs, and it correlates very well. Brother Soul, thank you for this platform. But yeah, man, Ram, like I said, bro, like you too smart for my taste, but at the same time, I understand what you're saying, and that's 100% accurate, man. But he's leaving for interpretation for y'all that are deep thinkers to figure it out. But Ram delivers great information, y'all.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, I appreciate that too, bro. One of the brothers in the chat though, before we close it out, was saying, plug
yes,
the Digital Dog Show.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead and cook on that, brother Sam.
Hey, so eventually the goal is for us to get y'all seen by people like Brother Ram and Brother Ray. But anyways, Digital Dog Show is this. It's going to open up on August 15th through September 15th. What it gives is it gives you the opportunity to get your dog seen out there. You can enter for free this time, and what's going to happen is if there's cash prizes, and we're going to get it announced by hopefully brothers like Brother Ram, Brother Ray, going hard, different kennels that have esteem and have culture and have the history behind this breed behind them, to get your kennel some exposure. If nothing else, get you some exposure and a little bit of bread in your pocket. But it also gives you the opportunity to learn about showing your dog. So like me, my first show was this year in March in person, and I ain't know shit about it. I even went on Facebook and looked for a show coach and couldn't find that shit. So this is where the niche came from. And our Digital Dog Show gives you the opportunity to get that feedback before you leave home and spend any money leaving home to go to a show to get your ass embarrassed. We can give you that feedback. So when you go to that show, you can know kind of where you stand at in that pecking order from what we can see online. Then when you go in person, you get the other half of it that you need, the hands-on experience to learn.
Well said. Well said. Hey, with that being said,
Hey,
so
hold on. Hey, Big A, I need a grill for a 7.2 Impala, man, for my brother Dunk, man. I see you might be fucking with him. You might could point me in the right direction. Been looking for an original one, but them hoes is hitting. So let me know right quick if you're still in the chat before we close it out, man. I know brother Soul got his son and shit with him. You got him on any anti-inflammatories to knock that out, bro?
nah, I'm taking it. I got the nasty ear infection,
Oh well, fuck you, nigga. You all right?
man. I've been dealing with this shit all weekend, bro. This shit, the whole right side of my face hurt, head, jaw,
What
all
are
of
you
it.
taking for it, bro?
I'm taking amoxicillin right now.
It might be a tooth. Your wisdom teeth might be coming in.
Bro,
No,
don't be
I didn't
afraid
have
to take a
wisdom teeth for about 8 years now. I'm good on that.
don't
I
be
got all-
afraid to take a clove of garlic, chew it for about 30 seconds to 1 minute, and swallow it just like that. You might want to chase it with a tablespoon of honey. But when it comes to infections and inflammatory shit like that, especially if it's in that because you know the ear, the nose, and the throat are all connected.
right.
Go ahead and let your saliva, let that garlic soak into the saliva, man, soak into that, man, and I guarantee you it's gonna free some stuff up, bro.
For
Yeah,
sure.
hell yeah. Hey, good looking out, Big A. Yeah, keep me posted though. It's for my brother. He got a dump. I just got the engine and shit together for him and shit. So now we about to start doing the cosmetics. He just bought a power glide, so when he get all the clutch packs and shit, and I'm gonna rebuild that and slap it in there, and we'll be done with the powertrain and shit, bro. So yeah, just yeah, keep me posted, man. Let me know. And if it's in a cool price, shit, I just cash app you or whoever got it and shit, man, and then throw you something for looking out. You feel me? Cause you know where I'm from, that's how we do.
In a real way. In a real way. Hey, with that being said, it's your boy Soul Power, aka Game of Kennels. It's been another great one. Y'all make sure y'all share this, watch it all the way through, hit your bell notifications, all of that sweet stuff, and we out. Peace.
Yeah, 7 to Impala.
Peace.
Salute.
Peace and blessings.